What's up, guys? Welcome to Chiefs Out West. My name is Kia.
I'm Butch Davis.
Woo! We're here to talk about the Chiefs winners in Week 1 over the Houston Texans, 34-20. Woo! Butch, how does it feel to come back, have football back to you, and how was this? How did you feel about this game?
So the game itself, I mean, come on. We knew this was going to happen, right? It was kind of a bit of a snooze fest. I'm just glad to have football back, man. We survived. We made it to football. Um, I will say before we get into the talks of the game itself, my reminder to the fans out there, the NFL is more than just entertainment, right? These men that play for us on Sundays, they have actual lives to live outside of football. And I think it would do us all some good to understand that maybe at times their humanity is worth more than our entertainment. And I think that's a part of what we saw before the game started. But as far as the game itself, I mean, excellent. I loved it. Let's get into it.
Right. All right. No, good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, let's talk about. Let's start with the offense. Woo! We got a good look finally at what Clyde Edwards-Helaire can do. We got good sense where our offensive line was looking at. I mean, we still got some time. But let's start off with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I mean, 138 yards, 1 touchdown. He had that touchdown for 27 yards. What do you think about him? He had a great first game.
Like, look, we're officially unfair now. This is exactly what we were talking about. Now the RPO game, you saw it early. They keep going back to the RPO game. That's going to be our bread and butter. It's going to account for something like 15% of our snaps throughout the season. It's going to be a ridiculously high rate. It's going to be even more than that now because whenever Pat identifies those light boxes, that hesitancy coming from the second level, if they drop back and try to get into the throwing window behind with the slant running behind them, they're just going to hand it off to Clyde every time. And I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire, when we put on that tape, broke one tackle, at least one tackle, every time he touched the football. This is a scary proposition for the rest of the league.
Much agreed. And I was actually just thinking about it during the game. I'm like, oh no, we know how to run the ball effectively too. And it was crazy. He had 25 carries. Chiefs running back doesn't usually have that many carries in a game. And the fact that Andy Reid was sticking with the run was really amazing to see. And and the fact that we weren't even playing our top game, we weren't even we didn't even play everyone. I mean, Hardman didn't even have that much playing time in that game. So it's crazy to think of how many ways we can win the game. What did you think about the offensive line? I know, they break some good holes. Osmelly did a really good job on that Clyde Edwards-Helaire touchdown that I really liked. But one of the questions I have was at the goal line. We could have put in another extra touchdown or two with Edwards-Helaire when we were at the 1, but our offensive line was getting pushed back, and Edwards-Helaire was, he's not a big guy to really, make people miss that much. What did you think about the overall play? Goal line.
So it was okay. There were times when Clyde just had to break some tackles right there at the line of scrimmage or, right there at the point of attack, which isn't good. You would like those holes to be created for him more often. That's just going to come with time. I mean, where our offensive line hasn't been in positions where they've been going head up against another defensive line that's going all out, going 100% in training camp. So we're going to get better over time with live reps. Mitchell Schwartz gave up a rare sack right off the edge to Jacob Martin early in the game. I was kind of shocked, but again, our guys they're going to settle in. They're going to have to continue to settle in over time. That will help on the goal line side. I was shocked how many times they ran to the right side or the strength of the formation on goal line behind Andrew Wiley instead of running it to the left side behind Kalichi Osemele, who is just a far better run blocker. I just kind of wanted to see that a little more. I didn't get that. So, again, it's a combination of Why are we using Clyde Edwards-Helaire in goal line situations? I know he got us all the way there. He doesn't need to get us into the end zone. We're going to let somebody else, a bigger back like Darrell Williams, get us into the end zone. We need to get better, more efficient on the offensive line. We'll get there in time. So there's still a lot of room for improvement.
Right. And then, yeah, it's still week 1. We still got a lot of time to regroup and everything, but at the end we got the win, so it doesn't matter. Our receiver core, again, week 1, Watkins steps up, makes some key plays, scores a touchdown. Could have had 2 touchdowns. I love when Sammy plays like this, but I know at times, this is, at times we're going to see him in the beginning and we might not see him later on, but it was good to kind of keep him, get him in the mix. How optimistic are you that he can last throughout the season? Or do you feel like, it is what it is. I'll see you in the playoffs.
Well, I'm not sure about how long he's going to last, but Andy's going to try to force feed him the ball a little more. Like you saw, he dropped he had a almost touchdown earlier in the game. He had another one at the goal line in the red zone at something like the 5-yard line. Pat with another RPO throws the ball a little bit behind Sammy on an out route. That probably could have been another touchdown. But after that first drop, Andy dials him up again. He runs short motion, bullet pass off to the strength of the formation, to the right-hand side of the formation, and Sammy's able to dive in for the touchdown. Andy knows what Sammy's trying to do. Sammy's trying to re-up in free agency after he reaches all of his incentive marks to get that extra $2 or $3 million at the end of his contract, and Andy likes that. Andy's going to keep dialing him up. So I don't know if he stays healthy, but dang it, we're going to make him productive whenever he's out there. I'm optimistic about Sammy.
Yeah, no, he played really well. One guy I was kind of shocked that we didn't get to see a lot of was McCole Hardman, and I'm pretty sure we'll see him down the line. But to me, I want to see him do something because I feel like he's the replacement for Sammy Watkins, and I want to see him start stepping it up. Is that too soon for me to think that, or do we still have all season and we just need to be a little bit patient?
I'm a little concerned. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I didn't check out. We can check out his snap count right now. I think he got something like less than 20% of the snaps out there. Meanwhile, Demarcus Robinson is out there dropping touchdown passes. So there's a concern there. Why is he not getting these snaps over guys like Demarcus Robinson, who we about let go in free agency? Then he just came back. It wasn't like we wanted to keep Demarcus Robinson. So something has to change. Something tells me it's about his route running, potentially. We'll find out over time.
Right. And Kelsey Hill had all game, 1 touchdown apiece. Obviously, Mahomes doing what Mahomes can. He made some great plays. 2 touchdown drops by Demarcus Robinson in the end zone. Could have had more, but overall a good game. Let's change direction. Go to defense. Defense kind of started off slow. We played with 2 linebackers and 5 defensive backs, and didn't see much, of Willie Gay. But let's just first start maybe with the defensive line. Woo! I love a healthy Frank Clark, man. It's so good to see, especially with Chris Jones.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we're talking probably the best 1-2 interior edge rushing combo in the league, if not top 3. I mean, and they put it on full display in that one. Second year of this defense, he's letting it fly. I mean, he's out there and allowing his defense to be themselves. He's playing games up front. We're mixing that in with great coverage schemes. We're blitzing Tyrann Mathieu off the edge to create interceptions. We're doing a lot to mess with. Like, look, I know we like to bag Bill O'Brien and, Texans for being this bad team because Bill O'Brien is a terrible GM and they traded DeAndre Hopkins. Look, that was a good team. That was a playoff team that we just beat, and they brought back just about everyone. We just beat them. We were just that much better than them. So we need to savor the flavor on that. We're an actually good team that made an other really good team look bad week 1, like they were just JV. I don't know what else to tell you. We're good. We are unfair. That's what I wrote down.
Yeah, I mean, if it was any other quarterback, we would have gotten way more than 4 sacks in that game, which 4 sacks is still a great number to have. but Deshaun Watson can get away with anything. So, yeah, do you think? I mean, Pennell's going to be gone for a little bit more. How do you think Nandi and Saunders did in the game? I know Saunders. I think believes it was Saunders who got a little injured, but how do you think they did?
Yeah, for the most part, we were all right. Like you could tell that the game plan, and again, this will come out in the tape. The game plan probably early on is we didn't want to get beat deep, right? We wanted to try to keep a top on our defense against their speed on the outside. That was priorities number 1, 2, and 3. The offense knew that. Houston knew that. So that's why you saw a game script, them blitz zone, handing it off just like we talked to, inside dive, trap, counters, little short dink and dunks on play action. They were doing that all game. The thing was they were doing it even when they were down 4 scores. That was all they could rely upon. So I didn't really care about the interior defensive line. They did enough of what they had to do to keep the score close and keep the score relatively down. I was a little disappointed that we didn't get more pass rush towards the end of the game to prevent big plays. But all in all, I think those guys did all right. Praying for Colin Saunders because now the depth on the defensive line is a little thin.
Yeah. He's a huge contributor to our D line, and we're already missing one good D lineman. So hopefully he's doing well. Hitchens and Wilson started in the linebacker, just them two. We didn't see a lot of Willie Gay, but a lot of fans, we were not very happy with the way the linebacker, were playing, missing tackles. I saw Hitchens just completely miss David Johnson, although David Johnson's a good player. What does that have to say about him? I mean, it is the first game, and we need to kind of relax, let him gel, whatever. But these two have been in this offense. These two know what it's like. They should have more veteranship. They should be playing at a higher level. Should we be concerned about them?
As long as they play, we're going to see stuff like this. If you think David Johnson's going to be your biggest challenge of the year, you got another thing coming. Week 3, you're going to be playing a team that runs a lot in Baltimore. Next week against the Chargers, they're going to want to run the football. This is just going to be what we go up against. They all have tight ends that can catch the ball. I don't know what Ben Neiman was doing on the field, when he gave up that shot play right down the seam to Jordan Aiken for an easy touchdown. This is the same stuff we've been talking about. We knew this was going to happen. And at this point, Dorian O'Daniel was on the field. But Dorian O'Daniel actually had a decent game. Why can't Dorian O'Daniel get these snaps? I don't get it, man. Maybe you can tell me.
Yeah, I mean, one I was surprised. I mean, you had a second-round draft pick in Willie Gay, and he didn't even step onto the field. But was it good to see Dorian O'Daniel get that 1 sack? Yes, it was really good because, we've been all waiting for him. I don't know what's going on, and maybe we have to kind of see more of the tape. Maybe team's got to get adjusted too, but yeah, it was definitely kind of like I was scratching my head a lot, why they weren't bringing him in. I'm excited to see Dorian O'Donnell, what he can do. I know he's really quick, really fast. He can guard running backs pretty well, but I don't know. I don't see what the Chiefs do, but I guess, we just have to be a little patient and see how things go.
Yeah, I'm running out of patience, but yeah, sure, patience. Maybe things change around. It has to get better because the second level of that defense is that bad.
Yeah, but we'll give it to the Texans too. David Johnson is healthy, and when he's healthy, he's a playmaker. He makes people miss. That's what he does. Texans overall always have a good run game. They know how to utilize their linebackers. I mean, Drew, Carlos Hyde looked like a superstar on this team. So that kind of shows how good they are, and but we'll see how they adapt. We started off though with our 5 secondaries, and obviously Rashawn Breeland wasn't there, and then Charvarius Ward got hurt, so we got Fenton and Snead on the outside, with Thornhill, Sorensen, and Tyrone Matthew. They did a good job of limiting big plays. I mean, they took care of that speed. What did you think about Snead's first game as a Kansas City Chiefs and in the NFL?
I hope he doesn't give that job back. I hope he remains. I hope they just give him more snaps because it's clear his speed is making a difference. He is patient. They tried to target him early. He wasn't having it. Okay, this guy trusted his technique. They've clearly done a great job with this young man, both scouting him and getting him prepared to play early. He got an interception that he could have ran back for a touchdown if he had field vision to cut it back across the middle. That's all good, though. I'm not hating on him. Like, look, I like L'Jarius Sneed. I'm excited about it.
Yeah. Yeah, he just played really well. Like I remember that, yeah, that first play, the pass to Fuller, and he was right with him. Obviously the pass was a little over, like back shoulder couldn't get to, but he was right on with them. Fuller didn't even give us much, well, actually, he did have 112 yards. A lot of that yards did come in like garbage time in the second half too, but really doesn't matter, in my opinion. But overall, a great play by our secondary. Tyrann Mathieu had that really great sack on Deshaun Matthew, which led to that interception. What do you think about, Tyrann Mathieu again with his leadership skills and what he brings to the secondary? We just looked we looked really solid back there.
Yeah, this is the strength of our team, the ability to rush the passer and cover on the back end. Charvarius Ward being out, it hurts because now we're thin in two areas on defense. So we need to hold up there. I think the good news is, though, that whenever he comes back, we play the Chargers and the Ravens. Those aren't necessarily passing attacks that I'm afraid of. So I think we'll be okay. Tyrann Mathieu is going to be a front runner for Defensive Player of the Year. He is not only the glue for this defense, he's the one that is emotional about when bad things happen to the team, even though they were minuscule in scale in this game. He takes it personally. That things don't work out. So he's going to work with whoever he needs to work with as a leader to make sure this doesn't happen in the future. That's why I'm okay with the linebacker crew. He's going to talk to Anthony Hitchens. Hitchens is going to get those guys right, and then they're going to talk to the coach. They're going to get this thing figured out. This was probably their worst game that they've had in a week one, or that they've had since they last played in the Super Bowl. And even 6 weeks, 7 weeks before that, when they started playing well, this is the worst game they've had in 8 weeks together as a defense. They'll get better over time, and Tyrann Mathieu's a big part of that.
Right. Great overall play. Switching really quick to the special teams, I just want to give a good shout out to our punter Townsend playing in his first game. I know that first punt he had, he kind of whipped it a little bit, but then that second punt he had inside the 20 gave Houston terrible field position. Hoping for many more. I know it's time to get you have to get comfortable, take some time, but he was able to take that first punt out of his mind and give us another one. I hope for many more. And obviously Butker being Butker and playing solid, who's my eyes the best kicker in the NFL by far. All right, so 34-20, Chiefs win. Let's get some awards. Offensive Player of the Game. Who do you got?
I am going to give my game ball to Clyde Edwards-Helaire. It's fairly obvious and fairly easy. That kid is a big-time difference maker. He's everything we saw on tape at LSU. He's going to be even better. We didn't throw him the ball. He did all that. We didn't throw him the ball. We're unfair, dog. We're unfair.
Yeah, he had no receiving yards, not even a receiving target, seems like. I agree with you. I loved what I saw. I love how he took the 25 carries and really was able to take this team and keep the Texans off the field and made some great plays. I believe he had 7 missed tackles or caused 7 missed tackles or something like that. And so little, you can barely see. I don't know how defenses can even tackle him. You can't even see him through the tackles. So I'm there with you. Defensive player of the game. Who do you
got? Defensive player of the game. I'm going to give my game ball to Chris Jones. I think it was tough between him and L'Jarius Sneed because I think Sneed had a great game as well. I wanted to give it to 2 rookies. But Chris Jones, exactly what we talked about. 1.5 sacks. Several pressures right up the middle on Zach Fulton. They were able to create one-on-ones with him on Zach Fulton. ate him alive. Wasn't even fair. Deshaun Watson can run around a lot. He wasn't able to run around as much as he usually does because once the pressure comes from the interior, there's nowhere to go, bruh. And that was all on Chris Jones.
Right. Yeah, Chris Jones making a lot of money right now and still stepping up. He just has a lot of passion for the game. I'm going to go with the game ball with Snead. First game in the NFL, primetime game. Everyone's watching, and everyone's watching the very first game, and you're stepping up and you're making plays and you're shutting people down. That's really hard to do, especially with a team like Texans who have one of the most fastest, receiver core in the NFL. He was able to do that. I'll give my big game ball to him. But thank you guys. Hope you guys liked it. We'll talk to you guys later.
We are unfair.